the program, Cedric. Can you hear us, Cedric?
Yeah, I think Cedric is in transit, so he might be in the background until possibly, yeah.
Yes, I think he's on mute at present.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so Brother Kofi, I think we could start. You could take it through the meditation, the 15 minutes meditation. Now.
All right, certainly. Thank you so much for welcoming me to this amazing show. Certainly, we are here to awaken our consciousness. We are here to show our appreciation to life. First of all, we appreciate ourselves, and also we appreciate our environment. By appreciating ourselves, we get to appreciate all of life, from plants to animals to humans to planets, stars and galaxies. This is an hour where we're going to use to basically contemplate on what keeps us alive. Wherever you are at this particular moment, I would like you to find a very comfortable, quiet place where you can sit down and not be disturbed for the next 15 minutes. Whether you are in Americas, you are in the European lands, you are on the African lands, you are on the Australian lands, you are on the Middle Eastern lands and the Asian lands, wherever you are, know that we are connected. We are connected by the same source of life. So in this particular moment, please grab a seat or a comfortable space and close your eyes. With your eyes closed, I would like you to take in 3 deep breaths. As you inhale, you can count mentally to 4. Hold it, mentally count to 4, and exhale, counting to 4. Please do this with me. So we inhale, we exhale. We inhale, we exhale. One last time, we inhale, we exhale. Now feel your body relaxing. As you were inhaling a substance called oxygen. It went into your body. It gave the body energy. And you exhaled something called carbon dioxide. This carbon dioxide that you are giving out is also being absorbed by other elements of life, including plants. Notice this happening. So as you inhaled the oxygen element. As you exhaled carbon dioxide. This means there is a relationship here where plants are absorbing what you're giving it. They will turn this carbon dioxide into oxygen, feed themselves, and release this oxygen back to you. This is a wonderful mystical connection where you can acknowledge your connection, first of all, with the plants, the trees, kingdoms that seems to be standing still, and yet they are giving all of life. Contemplate on this. for a few seconds. Now, as you are contemplating on your relationship with even the trees, acknowledge the darkness that is right behind your eyelids. With your eyes closed, you can see that everywhere is dark. There is darkness. And behind these eyelids, you can see flashes of red. You can see flashes of blue. You can see flashes of orange. You can see flashes of yellow. You can see sparks. If you cannot see it, that is all well still. You can see the darkness at least. There is a reason why when we pray or meditate, we close our eyes. By closing our eyes, we become aware of our source. Our source, our origins, which is the darkness. Scriptures will say, at the beginning was darkness. It is a very, 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 very significant quote and words that needs to be paid attention to. At the beginning was darkness. Take a look at this darkness behind your eyebrows. This darkness that preceded all of life. Take a look at it. Acknowledge that there was nothing. Acknowledge that there was stillness. This darkness preceded all the elements that has come into life as itself and as ourselves. This is the real magic. From nothingness, life is here. Pay attention to this darkness. Observe it. See where you were before you even became a physical being. Observe yourself. Observe you. Many people say, where is God? I want to see the face of God. Behind your eyelids, look at God. Look at him. Look at her. There she is. There he is. The darkness. The preceder of life. The one that has become all of us. Observe it. Acknowledge it. Appreciate it. Be grateful to it mentally. It doesn't matter whether you can describe it. It doesn't matter whether you have a name for it. It doesn't matter whether you call it darkness. It doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it your father, your mother. You can call it the womb of life. You can call it space. Possibly the first element, space, which is full of darkness. When astronauts leave our planet Earth and they break the magnetic fields and go into space, everywhere is dark. Total darkness. This darkness that has become space, birthing light, birthing sound, birthing movement, motion, birthing fire, birthing air, birthing water, birthing the earth elements, this darkness. Observe it. Observe how this magic, the one that has no beginning and no end, this darkness, observe it. How is it possible that nothing has become something, so much so that you can even hear my voice as I speak? Such wonderment. Observe it. As you look behind your eyelids, the flashes of light that you may be seeing, see it as the darkness birthing light. Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. At the beginning was total darkness. Another command came, let there be light. This command also came with sound. Let there be sound. Let there be light means also let there be sound. Some people call it the Big Bang, the big sound, the big wave with frequencies. Some people call it electromagnetism. Some people call it life. Some people call it spirit. Some people call it God. The one that is about to recreate itself into many kingdoms and many forms. From minerals, to plants, to animals, to humans, to planets, to starry systems, and into galaxies. The current of life. Let there be light. Let there also be sound. These elements are very, very important right at the beginning of creation. Electro, meaning it has electrical fields. Magnetism, meaning it has an electronic field where it can pull the light to itself. Together, it creates electromagnetism, which is fundamental in all of life. Anything that breathes, anything that walks, anything that moves with electromagnetism. It moves with waves. This is very scientific, and we can certainly deepen this by researching the topic electromagnetic fields. Let there be light. From this light came what we call consciousness, awareness, the observer, something to acknowledge its creation, something to recreate what has already been created in the darkness. Consciousness. Again, the elements of the air, fire, water, earth plays a huge role in consciousness. If we were to go in order, we call the electromagnetic fields the etheric fields, the ethereal field, the field of possibilities. We go further down, and by studying electromagnetism, we realize that there is something called heat, which is basically fire, the fire element. When the air and fire had a relationship, we came across vapor, which ultimately turns into water, hydrogen, H2O, 2 hydrogen atoms with 1 oxygen atom. We have water. From the water came oceanic life, an increase of something called photosynthesis, the birth of bacteria, the birth of oceanic plants. And just like anything that has been created by God or the universe, after its creation, it is left to decay. So these plants started decaying in the waters of life. By decaying, they formed oil, which further increased the potential of fire with the support of the already established air. This is very scientific, and we can always study it further to understand even more. From the decaying of the plants started the birth of the earth elements, which is basically the minerals of life. Carbon, something that we could have a relationship with, something that will give us a home, something that will give us feelings, tangibility, physicality, the earth. The giver of life can also show us that if we do not acknowledge and appreciate it, the giver can also take away. Our relationship with the element is very, very significant. Once they leave us, our consciousness is also decreased exponentially. Let's acknowledge the elements. Let's praise it. Let's start off with space, which we call the ethereal fields. We have space, the womb of life, the womb of life, the womb of man, the one that is about to birth all of life. From here we have heat coming from the fire, creating temperatures. We have the air giving life to the fire and giving us coolness. We have water for hydration, for movement, for fluidity. We have the earth for stability. As our food, as an opportunity to touch, as our opportunity to walk, to move, to be stable, stability. When it all boils down together, we have something called electromagnetic fields, the soul, the spirit of life. If you were to take a moment right now to touch your pulse, which can be found on your neck or even on your wrist, if you rest 2 fingers there, you feel a pulse. Without this pulse, pulsating at a certain frequency, life would not be. So as we can see, this pulse, there is no life that is in control of this pulse, no human power, no technology, nothing but the universe itself. It shows that the universe is alive for itself, and as such, we have been created for itself. This means that anything that we go through in life or observe in life is not for us, but for the universe itself. For God Himself, herself. We are here for life. Feel that pulse. Feel you. Feel you as the kingdom of God within your entire body. You have a relationship with the air. When you breathe in, you're breathing in the air. Within your stomach area, within your stomach, there is a huge amount of heat. This is the field of fire. It helps you to break down food, to digest it, and it gets transported around the body to give you energy. Electrolytes, which comes from electricity. When you go further down within your abdominal area into your waistline, you come to the field of the water. This is where water is found the most, within the waist area. Hence, whenever we are passing out water, it comes from our waist area. When you go further down into your legs and into your feet, you come to the earth element, the earth area. This area, as you can see, is made of a lot of bones, something strong, something stable that you can use to stand. You have a huge amount of metals in that way. Your whole body is the field of the elements. You are the elements. And if the sustainer of life is the elements or are the elements, and life is telling you that you are created in the image of God, in the image of the elements, then acknowledge you being at one with God, the Creator. For God is the elements, the one that is here to sustain life. And they are already functioning in you, meaning that you are God. You are the elements. You are space. You are the electromagnetic fields. And you are conscious through your eyes, which uses fire or light. You are conscious through your ears. You are conscious through your nose. You are conscious through your mouth or your tongue. And you are conscious through your body. If we were to use the elements on our senses, which is the sense of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting and touching, we can see that the eyes has a strong relationship with light and fire. The ears has a strong relationship with space and hearing, echo. For only in space can there be an echo. The nose has a strong relationship with the earth. When it's smelling or sniffing, it's smelling the smell of the earth. Your mouth has a strong relationship with water. Your tongue produces a lot of fluid that helps you to break down food. And your body has a strong relationship with the wind, because you feel the wind, and when you move, you also move with the wind. Oh my goodness, what a marvelous human being you are. Ladies and gentlemen, from all the things that you have heard in this moment, whatever has struck your attention, kindly let's focus on this for the next 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes. Use this to say thank you to light, Thank you to space. Thank you to fire. Thank you to air. Thank you to water. Thank you for the earth. For these elements has created the current of life, the intelligence of life, the feelings of life, and what we call the ego, the individual personality of life. Together, we are all God and we are all good. Let's acknowledge our own magnificence. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I must say that I was so drawn into the whole meditation that I've not even seen time flying. I'm grateful that you've all listened to me, and I'm going to leave our field of meditation. I'm going to ask you all to come out of your darkness quietly, and we're going to continue our show, The Life of the Elements. Thank you on this wonderful journey. Thank you. God bless you all.
Yes. God bless you, Brother Kofi, for such a wonderful, lifting meditation. That was very deep. Thank you so much. Yes. So, I'll welcome Brother Daniel. I see Kathy. I see our sister, Sarah Lister. And then we have the Mezuzah Media Consult here. You're all welcome to today's program, deliberating, discussing, dialoguing on seeing life in the elements. And so, Brother Kofi, you just landed with us, but just 2 minutes. What do you have to say about seeing life in the elements?
Oh, wow. It is nice. Yes. This is to me, right?
Yes.
Yes. Wow. Without the elements, you and I will not be able to be communicating in this particular moment. Without the elements, God, the so-called powerful God, will not even have an existence. There is a powerful saying from the African culture that human beings are here to bring God to earth. So yes, life has brought us to earth. We can say that God has brought us to earth. But afterwards, human beings, especially, are here to bring God on earth. Now, for this to happen, we need the elements to be functioning. We need the ability to see. We need the ability to have a place to live. We need a home. And this home, what our ancestors from the African continent discovered many millennia ago was the importance of space, matter, a material field. This will enable all other life to be possible. And nobody knows why God created the air, the fire, the water, and the earth. But then if we observe life scientifically, we realize that 2-3 minutes without breathing the air ultimately leads to our death, because then there's no oxygen traveling through our body system. If we stay away from the fire, heat, we will start being ill, dying from the cold. Pneumonia, an illness called pneumonia, will kick in. The ability to even have energy will reduce. And in time, or a few days, we lose ourselves. And this happens even to plants. When there is no the daylight, they wilt away because they cannot feed from the sunlight. If there is no water, even for 3 days, 4 days, you know you're getting closer to death, because the water purifies us and renews us to live in the moment. And without the earth, first of all, our sustenance level will be reduced. We will not even have the ability to have the air, the water, and the fire. And because of that, we will not have a home, and we will not have the most important thing that keeps our body going, vitamins, food. See? So the elements are very important, and without them, there's no life. And when they desert us, there's no life either. So if there is a God, it has to be the elements. Yes.
Great. Thank you. So basically what you are saying is that the life we live here is constituted of fire, water, earth and earth. And yes, without water, there will be no life, no plants to grow. Without the sun, there will be no life. Without the air, 5 minutes without the air, there will be no life. And with the earth, it's kind of like become among the planets, the habitable place. So we see life in this thing. Daniel, what do you have to say? Seeing life in the elements of fire, water, earth, and air. Can you hear me, Daniel? It seems we have challenged you, Daniel. Sarah Lister, can you hear us?
Perhaps Daniel is somewhere that he might not be able to talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So Sarah is in now.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for inviting me to the stage. So, the elements. I probably will start with a confession that before, probably it's only been a few years that I have been conscious, and it sounds really, I have to choose my words carefully about, in terms of my relationship, that I have developed a relationship with the elements and to see them as what they are and absolutely crucial for my being here. Right? Before, probably like most people, I took them for granted and I just existed. And but now, I'm forever wowed by how I am constituted, and I think, Coffee, when you're kind of doing the meditation, going through different parts of the body in relation to the elements, I think that was really, really powerful. To actually, we miss sometimes what is kind of plainly in our sight, but when we look at the way we are constituted, it's like actually we are made of the elements. We're part of the elements. We're one with the elements. I just look at my kind of flesh, back in the day they say, in terms of, at funerals, not being morbid, they say, dust returns to dust or something like that. But not realizing actually because the body is actually made of the earth. It is one with the earth, right? The flesh is one with the earth. And it's like, how profound is that I don't even appreciate the earth that I'm actually also made of. And we talk about, the blood flowing in our veins and the importance of blood, and, for those that may have come from a kind of Christian background, the whole blood of Jesus and all of that. And actually, you think, the key thing about the blood is the plasma, and plasma is actually water. And you hear, we have so much water in our system. I'm like, wow, how could I have been so ignorant and not even acknowledge that I am made of the elements, and without the elements, truly I can't be, even in that kind of, in the simplicity, right? It's like, when the earth moves and suddenly, for those that live in the northern hemisphere, like myself, it's freezing cold because the sun has shifted, and it's like how important the sun is and also in terms of like how the elements work together. It's not just sun says, oh, I'm the most important, or the earth says I'm the most important, but in terms of how they work together in harmony and in perfection for me to be who I am and for the life on the planet to be what it is. That's me and the elements. I'm still exploring, I'm still understanding in terms of, that actually I come from and I'm part of the elements, and I'm so grateful, and every day I'm forever grateful to the elements. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So you made one important point about the blood, the plasma in water. So we could all see how this water, fire, constitutes our very being, and that the life we live and what gives us life, it comes from these elements. Kathy, do you have something to add?
Well, I think we might have to carry on until Kathy joins us in the speakers. She's still not responding to the invite, so we can still carry on, and then when she comes, she can join.
Oh, okay. So Kathy is not there, then the Iman. Okay. So Daniel is not. Okay. So Papa Smiley. What do you make of the salvations? What do you make of the?
Well, I felt I was back in university once again. In the meditation, I saw a very wonderful scientist in Kofi Danso, taking me through some scientific lessons as to understanding the elements, which was very marvelous. Truly, without the elements, there wouldn't be any life whatsoever. And anything that we do, anything that we are capable of doing, it is because the elements allow that to be possible. And when I was also very, very pleased when Sarah made mention of the fact that she now pays attention to the elements now, in the sense that sometimes when you tell people you are constituted of the elements, they find it quite difficult understanding. It is the elements that feed you when you eat your food and what have you. You have the elements of the earth, the element of earth entering you as you eat your food. Our body is composed of almost 70% of water. That alone tells you that, wow, if my body alone is constituted of about 70% water, that tells me water is very, very important to me. So when we talk about seeing life in the element, it is simply talking about the fact that without these elements, that is, without the things that makes your life possible, there wouldn't be your life. You wouldn't be here. So see that as the originator of life. If there is anything whatsoever, people may say, oh, there is no God, God is nowhere, and what have you. But scientifically, we have evidence of what makes our life possible, and that is what Kofi and Sarah has given us. They have given us more insight into that. So if there is anything that you would want to refer to as God or as life, truly it is these elements that we need to pay attention to. And as Sarah is already doing, the moment you begin to pay attention to them, feel your connection with these elements, you are able to relate with them. And all these elements, they operate with some principles. When you study their principles and you work along with these principles, you are unstoppable. Very, very, very unstoppable. And the beauty of these 4 elements that we are talking about here is they work in harmony, in unity. And in that unity, they are very strong. Extremely, extremely powerful. So that is what I have learned today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yes, that reminds me of so much about the elements. But let's hear. Cardi was ready to talk at the point. Are you ready, Cardi?
Yeah.
Okay.
God bless you.
God bless you.
Sorry. I think a lot has been said, and thank you all for sharing your views about the elements. And for me, what I would like to share is without the elements, I wouldn't be here. So the elements is how do I put it? Important thing in our lives as it is, and then we have to give attention to the elements as in the earth, which I breathe through. Sorry, I'm just having a little problem with the little girl. The air, breathing through with the oxygen that I breathe through, and then the earth, which sorry, can I please come back, please?
Okay.
Let me just attend to this little girl, please.
So what is happening is that you see this death we go to the elements in our lives possibly might have been caused by the invention of the sky daddy. You know, until the invention of the sky daddy, all cultures recognize the life within the elements. With the invention of the sky daddy, where everything was attributed to him in the skies, we knew that life comes from light. And so the earth is not dead. You know, the earth is not dead, and then the waters are not dead. The sun is not dead; it's alive. The air we breathe, we all know it's life. You know, we were taught in science earlier that living and non-living things. Then we classify the earth as non-living things, and then we were taught also that. But we realized that the earth being non-living thing, give birth and give life to living things. We have trees that are living things. They come from the earth. We have to plant them on the earth for them to generate and have life. And for the tree to have life, it has to have sunshine. And the sunshine has to now give it its greenness and food to the food we eat. You see, the water that we drink from the oceans, from the rivers and everything, give us life. And the fish that we even eat get their life from the sea, from the oceans, from the rivers. Yes, when we get a fish on our table, we thank God. And we behave as if, where the source of the thing is fetish. It is idolatry. Don't have anything to do with it. But can we say we have nothing to do with these elements? Baba Smiley, you wanted to say something? No, Kati, you came back. Baba Smiley,
you see, the biggest disease we have in this world is ignorance, and I'll put it in the ignorance of the self. The ignorance of the self, is ignorance of how the universe operates. Because as we have all learned today, we are a composition of the elements, and together make this beautiful world possible. So if you are ignorant of yourself, that means it's universal ignorance. And there is one term, I think it's anthropocentrism, right? Yes. Where we humans, we the ones, we classify ourselves as the living beings. We feel we are more important than any other thing in this world. So as you rightfully said, we were taught living and non-living things, right? But the very things that we classify them as non-living, they are the very ones that provide us with our source of life, right? And truly, when you are awakened to some of these truths, as we are sharing today, you are able to redefine yourself to your originality. You are able to redefine yourself into power. You are therefore able to align with the power of your source, because now that we know that we are a composition of these elements, and we are able to understand the power of these elements, and we work along them, we awaken to the power of these elements within us. And that is the integral part of what we are discussing. When you see these elements within you, they make you what you are, and you awaken to it. You align yourself to the power of these elements, and that is one area that possibly we may have to step into, so that we can possibly learn about tapping into the power of the elements of which make us who we are. So that is what I will possibly add for now.
Okay. Yes. So, I mean, the basic thing, underlying thing is we are the elements. Brakofi, you want to say something?
Yes. Just in relation to what Papa Smiley said, that the elements, once you get to know yourself, you get to know that it's the element that keeps us alive. Now, if I was just to refer any person that has either gone to church or read a bit about the Bible or any other scriptures, basically, scripture says that man know thyself. It was a statement that I believe Honorable Yeshua, aka Jesus, said in the Bible. Man, know thyself. To know thyself, he was implying something very, very powerful. By knowing what you are made of and what keeps your powers together, you will also acknowledge the ultimate power of the universe itself, the space, and even the earth. You will even see the magnificence of the earth. Now, I believe that people probably would like to have access to some of our knowledge system and how we are able to even explain these things. I must say that it was a wonderful journey of discovery, and all I would urge people to do is that when you wake up in the morning, acknowledge first of all that you are breathing. Acknowledge that you are taking in something that is giving you life. Acknowledge that you live in space. You live on a planet called Earth, which is made of earth elements, or what we call the minerals. And from there, you also see the existence of the waters and the animals and the plants. They are all part of us. Acknowledge them. Start seeing your relationship with them. And now, in this world, we have access to a lot of information by simply clicking on Google, or if you have a biology book at home, just find out the importance of the air, water, fire, and earth. By allowing your mind, which is part of your soul, access to these realms, it will start over the years, it will start giving you a lot of wisdom and a lot of understanding, and it will ultimately bring you closer to God and closer to yourself as well. Because once you discover yourself and what you're made of, you've basically seen God. And I used to have this philosophy that I was looking for God, and yet I found myself. And when I found myself, I found God. So yes, it's all about getting to know ourselves. God bless you all for listening. Thank you.
It's all about getting to know ourselves. So yeah, we'll be wrapping up. We have 7 minutes more. 1 minute from each one. Kathy, can you summarize now? Oh, okay. It seems Kathy is not here, ready to talk now. Lista, Sarah.
Thank you. I think probably when, in terms, I don't know whether the kind of Papa was speaking and sort of like feel like, well, actually, maybe, obviously we're in this group, obviously we're all in agreement, right? But actually stepping back, I like to think in terms of why I thought the way I thought. And I think one of the points has been addressed that in school we were taught that they are non-living things, and so therefore we treated them as such in terms of the elements. But there's another side to it, for those that may have come from a spiritual background that says, about idolatry, like worshipping things, worshipping good, worshipping all of this, and in terms of people who were kind of deemed as like heathens, pagans, people who worship the sun, people who worship the moon, people who worship like that, and it's like the picture is painted in your mind that you having that kind of reverence, which is what I would call it more than worship of the sun, it's idolatry. Your worship is like you're not worshiping the creator, you're worshiping the created, and there'll be a lot of people who still see it that way. I mean, how would you help them kind of cross over to a point where most of our now, because I think in this room, I think we're in agreement where the elements are concerned. Somebody who's thinking, well, actually, forget about, we were told they're not living things. Maybe now they're seen as living, because anyway, science changes, I believe, in terms of as science discovers more things, suddenly it changes whatever we were taught. The people who are coming from that religious background of pagans and who are worshipping the sun, dancing around, hedge, whatever, or Stonehenge, UK, around the solstice. I mean, what do you say to those people to change them? Sorry, I know we are wrapping up. Maybe we can continue next time. Sorry.
Yeah. We wanted to respond to that, but maybe next week we could start with that question. What do you say to that? I think next week we could start with that question. Papa Smiley,
that's right. I think we can do that next week. Yeah, it's a very beautiful question, as a matter of fact. It's a very very beautiful question. It's like you appreciating the beauty of a woman, and then you forget about the source of that beauty, right? So next time, on our next meeting, if not Wednesday or Saturday, we will get into that. We will get into that.
Okay, Emmanuel.
Sorry, one thing. Yeah. May I ask that we do it on Saturday? Because I will probably wouldn't be able to join in the weekday. If I do join, I'm not really able to contribute.
No, okay.
Because I'm normally at work. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So next week we'll start with that question. What do you have to say to people paying attention to this? Okay, Brother Emmanuel, you have to end with us. What are your thoughts? What inspirations? What learnings? What new things are coming to you?
I think he's on mute, so he might possibly have to unmute himself.
But Emmanuel, if you could hear us. Oh no.
Okay. Let's see.
It seems we have some few challenge with. Okay, Brother Emmanuel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. I've been here for a while, and I've been enjoying all what has been going on. Just a quick thing I wanted to add, that the elements that we've been talking about, in addition to what has been said, I would say the elements are actually responsible for the weather that we see, for the rain, for the, the good weather we have, for the winter, for summer, all those things is the elements, what we call the divas, who are actually behind these things. For example, before fire occurs, there need to be a fire diva, to be present. So, apart from the elements that make a fire, there needs to be that fire diva, which is behind the scenes, which is unseen, which is the spirit behind the scene to get the fire to be fire. So they also contribute to make our life what it is. Without them, without the weather as we know them, we know the weather, we can't survive. We can't survive. So we also have to appreciate and know about what the difference does. In the past, you realize that our forefathers used to know about them. Like in Ghana, we have the Motia, for example, which are the divas. They live in our forest and stuff, right? In Scotland and other places, they know of the goons, the fairies, and all that. They are all divas. They are the sort of energies behind these things, the energies that makes these things work. Okay, so we also have to recognize them and know that they all feed into the system. They all feed into the overall beauty of creation that makes life possible. See? So that even when you worship a diva, you are worshiping, or even when you are grateful to a diva, you are thanking God through one of it, creations, which is good. So that's what I just want to add. That in addition to everything that we do, fire, air, water, and earth, what they do in our bodies, they are also responsible for what we see outside. Without them, the body cannot live. Basically, we can't live in this sort of environment. It's affecting weather. When you go into the rain, you have to thank your God for it, because the rain is just not happening. There are powerful element behind the rain. Anyway, I'll just put it here. Let's just say we don't have enough time.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Brother Emmanuel. So, in conclusion, you see that all around us is the elements, all within us is the elements. Fire, the sun, water, the rain, the rivers, the earth, the rocks, the mountains, the valleys, the soil, the dust, air that we breathe, the oxygen, the carbon dioxide. These things make up life. And the Bible will tell us that you are created from dust, and dust you will return to. Telling us that your beginning, your end is the earth. Metaphorically telling you that you came from this element. And so that has been it. Kathy, we would like to hear more from you next week, maybe, if there's, you were making some wonderful submissions, and then send us. Thank you all. Thank you, Sarah Lister. Thank you so much, Brother Kofi, Emmanuel, for smiling. Thank you. We also thank God for a wonderful dialogue and discussions, and we know that our week is blessed, and we move and we gather next year. We gather next week here with greater wisdom and understanding. Thank you all for coming. See you Wednesday and Saturday. Sarah, I'm so impressed with your question. I wanted to handle that initially, but I touched about a bit about talking about separation between God and man. That's where probably the answer might lie. But we'll have time next time to talk about that. So, yes, thank you all for coming. And
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think I heard you say next year. Next year is too far. It's next week. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Next week.
Next week. Yeah, that's right. Bye bye.